Welcome to Reform Thinking. Today, we're diving into something huge from John Calvin's Institutes, a really powerful argument he makes against the whole idea of earning God's favor through our good works. So we're going to dig into why Calvin was so passionate about this idea, that our good deeds, no matter how good, can never, ever earn us favor with God. And listen, this isn't just some dusty old debate from the 1500s. Nope. It hits right at the heart of how we often think today. That temptation to turn our faith into a performance, into trying to justify ourselves. Getting this right is, well, it's foundational for understanding where our salvation truly comes from. All right, so this is the big question, right? This is what we're tackling. And how you answer this, it changes everything about your view of the Christian faith. Think about it. Do our actions, the good things we do, our charity, our obedience, are they like deposits in some kind of heavenly bank account? Do they build up credit with God? Or is there something completely different happening? Okay, so Calvin hones in on this one little word that he thought was just so dangerous. And that word is merit. Now, for him, this wasn't just playing with words. He believed that the very idea of merit was a word dripping with pride, a term that just completely messes up our understanding of our relationship with God. And here it is, straight from Calvin. This is his main problem with it. He's saying that the second we start talking about meriting or deserving anything from God, we've taken the spotlight off of his incredible grace and shined it right back on ourselves, on our own achievements. And what does that do? It hides God's goodness and just puffs us up with pride. Now, this part is absolutely crucial. You have to get this. Calvin didn't think he was making up something new. Not at all. He saw himself as on a recovery mission. He was trying to get the church back to what it had always believed, back to what the ancient church fathers taught. He was convinced that the church in his time had just, well, it had lost the plot on this issue. And to prove he wasn't just making this up, he points back to the giants, right? He leans heavily on guys like Augustine, and look at this quote. Augustine couldn't be clearer. He says, any idea that we can earn merit, that died with Adam in the fall. When it comes to our salvation, only one thing can be king. Only one thing can reign, and that's the grace of God through Jesus. He can't have both. There's just no room. And then there's this incredible, almost riddle-like statement from Bernard of Clairvaux that just nails it. For merit, it suffices to know that merits do not suffice. Wow. In other words, the only merit we have is realizing we don't have any merit. So you see, Calvin was standing on the shoulders of these giants, just echoing what they'd been saying all along. Our works are just not good enough to stand before a perfectly holy God. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, if our works don't earn us anything, are they just worthless? Should we even bother? And the answer is a huge no. Calvin actually had a really high view of good works. He believed they absolutely are pleasing to God. But, and this is the key, the reason they're pleasing to God is what turns everything on its head. So here's the deal. The value in our good works doesn't come from the works themselves. It comes completely from God's gracious choice to accept them. It's not because they're perfect. In fact, Calvin puts it bluntly. He says even our best deeds are stained. They're spattered with much uncleanness. So why are they acceptable at all? Only because God, in his incredible kindness, looks at them through Christ and decides to place value on them. To make this crystal clear, Calvin uses this fantastic analogy. Let's call it the ungrateful tenant. So imagine a master who generously gives a tenant a field to work. It's a pure gift. Step 2, the tenant starts enjoying all the benefits, the harvest, the income, and he starts to think, hey, this field is mine. I earned this. See where this is going? Step 3, that kind of ingratitude is just awful, right? It deserves having the gift taken away. And that's Calvin's point. When we claim merit for the good things we do, things that are only possible because of God's grace in the first place, we're acting just like that tenant. We're trying to steal the glory that belongs only to God. And all of this brings us to the absolute peak of the argument. This is the heart of it all. If our works can't save us, if they have no merit in themselves, then how in the world can we ever have a right standing before God? Where does our righteousness come from? For Calvin, the answer isn't a what, it's a who. It's Christ. He is our only merit. He is the true foundation of everything. So look at this. This slide just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you have the view Calvin was arguing against. That view says Christ basically just opens a door for us, and then it's up to us to earn our righteousness. But the Reformed view, the view that Calvin saw in the Bible, is so much more radical and so much better. It says Christ doesn't just give you an opportunity for righteousness. He is your righteousness. And Calvin doesn't leave any room for doubt here. He says that through faith we are engrafted into Christ. It's like being grafted onto a vine. You become part of it. And when that happens, you don't get some starter kick to go out and earn your own way. No, you get all the merits of Christ. His perfect record, his perfect life, it's all given to you. Communicated, Calvin says. We'd probably say it's credited to your account. It's a gift. So think about what that means. If we have everything in Christ, what's left for us to brag about? Absolutely nothing. It's just like the Apostle Paul said, Christ becomes our wisdom, he is our righteousness, he is our purity, he is our power, he is our very life. Everything we lack, everything we need, we find perfectly and completely in him. Period. So why are we getting so deep into this? Why does it matter so much? Because this whole doctrine, it's not supposed to be some heavy theological club to beat people with, not at all. It's meant to be a source of deep, deep comfort and assurance for anyone who believes. This is where the theology gets personal. Listen, when you realize that your standing with God rests entirely on Christ's perfect work and not on your own up and down flawed performance, everything changes. You're set free from that crushing weight, that constant anxiety of, am I good enough? Your confidence becomes stable because it's not built on you, it's built on him. And that freedom is what lets us finally serve God, not because we're scared, but out of pure, joyful gratitude for what he's done. And this is the amazing conclusion. This famous promise from Romans 8, it becomes real. It becomes unshakable. Because if our connection to God's love is based on Christ and not on what we do, then nothing, and I mean nothing, not death, not life, not the present, not the future, absolutely nothing can break that bond. It is secure, it is eternal, it is finished. So, I want to leave you with this question to really think about. Calvin's entire argument pushes us to look in the mirror and ask, where does my assurance really rest? When I feel secure with God, what am I actually trusting in? Is it my own performance? My good deeds from last week? Or is my confidence grounded entirely, 100%, in his promise and in the finished work of his Son?